The Farm Journal Legacy Project presents Leave a Legacy. And now, your host, Kevin Spafford.
Hi, and welcome to Leave a Legacy. Success in a family business is an admirable trait in any language. For most Americans, our history can be traced back to Europe, the old country. And if you go back far enough, most of us have our roots in farming. The Roozens of Mount Vernon, Washington trace their family history back to Holland in the 1700s. Their presence on the American landscape started just one generation ago, when William started with 10 acres in 1947. Today, Washington Bulb Company is the largest grower of tulip bulbs in the U.S. Clinton Griffiths is going to introduce us to the Roozens.
The views are breathtaking, electricity in color, reaching full bloom in the Skagit Valley of Washington State.
Jose, we're only going to work till noon.
Don't be fooled by the soft facade. This row crop is labor intensive. This is the Washington Bulb Company, owned by the Roozen family. Today, workers are picking daffodils to be sold into the cut flower market.
And if they get thrown around, so they don't slide.
In a single year, this flower factory cuts more than 100 million flowers, all of which are grown either outside on roughly 2,200 acres or inside under 16 acres of glass.
We start in September and we'll plant till December. And they go into a rooting room where they are rooted. They get roots and little shoots.
The Washington Bulb Company is the largest grower of tulip bulbs in the U.S. And after watching its acres of robots work, that's no surprise.
They could grow anywhere from half an inch to an inch a day. And then when they're about ready to pick, then they come into the front of the greenhouse where we're picking them.
Plucked from the soil and separated from their bulbs.
It actually bunches and grades the tulips that we pick in the greenhouse automatically.
The tops make their way to supermarkets, flower shops, and wholesalers all over the world.
Of course, in the old days, when you sold to a chain store, you'd sell through a wholesaler. But that doesn't happen anymore. All chain stores are pretty high-tech nowadays, and they pretty much go direct. They buy direct from the grower.
There's also a retail shop on site to service Valley visitors. Eye candy, of course, is free. Outside is a 3-acre garden displaying roughly 200,000 bulbs.
Good morning, Washington Bulb Company.
This budding business is run by the 5 brothers Roozen, a family with flowering roots.
And if you go to the books in Holland, you will see that the legacy of tulip growing in the Roozen family goes back to the early 1700s.
The farm was started back in 1950 when William Roozen, the youngest of 4 boys, and his wife Helen came to Washington State from Holland. After struggling through labor-intensive odd jobs, William scraped together a place of his own.
And then slowly he got a few acres, got a few bulbs from Holland, and he started a little bit on his own.
And it was tough. Even in 55 and 56, that winter, for example, almost everything froze.
Through the ups and downs, the farm grew, and so did the family. The Roozens had 10 children, 5 girls and 5 boys. After college, the boys began returning to the farm. John and Leo were the first.
Johnny and I got in this big fight with him, and he said, well, what does it matter to you guys? It's my company. I said, well, we're going to be running it, you know, and so many, oh, you guys, he says, you guys want to come into, well, of course we want to come into the business. He says, well, you never said so. We never officially said so, and we said, well, you never asked. So this company he realized, this company's got to grow.
And grow it did. All 5 boys returned to work in the family business, buying their sisters' portions as life took them in other directions. Eventually, Bernadette stepped back in to open the retail shop and show garden until she passed away in the 90s. Roles simply got divvied up. Leo heads up the business and had early success in sales. Richard runs the greenhouses and operations. William works with the picking and packing crews.
There's a couple, not a lot, but there's a couple with yellow. We cannot have any yellow.
While John handles the farming and soil fertility, Michael works in finance. 5 brothers, 5 equal owners, and 5 strong opinions.
When you get that big family, that big extended family, You have so many different personalities and you have so many different opinions, and we're an opinionated family.
With 36 grandkids in the family and roughly half that many just between them, passing this business on is stacking up to be the biggest challenge lying ahead.
We've struggled with this, and we're struggling with it.
You want to know what my legacy is? I've sent my kids to work somewhere else.
Why?
It is what it's, this is going to be legacy for a few.
There's too much family, and I don't think it's not I love my job and I love being here, but it's a struggle.
We will get there. We will get there, but you know, it's going to take tremendous, it's going to be the hardest thing we ever did.
So, while the fields are ripe with another year's harvest, finding a way to leave this legacy may be the Roozen's biggest challenge yet. I'm Clinton Griffiths reporting.
Success is a team effort. The collective talents of this family of agripreneurs is evident in their achievement. Up next, I'll visit with the second generation of Roozens actively involved in the operation.
Pioneer Hybrid proudly continues its legacy of supporting America's farm families by sponsoring the Farm Journal Legacy Project.
The things you need to protect don't always come with a timeline. If your personal goal is to make sure your family farm stays in the family, you need to know where to turn for advice. Pioneer Hybrid proudly supports the Farm Journal Legacy Project, a valuable resource for your succession planning and your children's future. The family farm is alive and well. Pass it on.
Simple answers are the best answers. Pioneer was first to simplify corn rootworm refuge by integrating everything you need in a single bag. Now, Pioneer is expanding choices with new single-bag refuge products, Optimum Acre Max and Optimum Acre Max Extra Insect Protection. Just fill your planter and go. No stopping. Right product, right acre. Simple.
Match the right product to the right acre and you'll see results. Y-Series soybeans from Pioneer, for example. They're redefining yield potential field by field, powered by our exclusive accelerated yield technology system. They're the next generation of high-performing Pioneer varieties with bred and pest resistance traits. It's easy to see why growers plant Pioneer brand soybean varieties on more acres than any other brand.
This is our time to get the most out of every hour, out of every acre. You don't plant half promises, only the best solutions. We know the land, we know you. It goes generations deep. Right product on the right acre. It's what we do together.
This team of agripreneurs knows a thing or two about working together. They're comfortable with business issues, yet family is always part of the equation. I visited with the active family members about business, family, and the future. Tell me a little bit about the family.
Well, there was five brothers and 5 sisters. My youngest sister died 14 years ago, who was also a partner of ours at Roozen, the only sister that was a partner of ours. And now it's just the 5 brothers running the company, and it's not always easy.
When Leo came out of school, he, I don't know if he agreed or Paul asked him or if he volunteered, but he, you know, you kind of go into where there's a void,
Yep.
and he moved into that area. And,
Leo did.
Yeah, and did it, quite frankly, a lot better than we'd ever done it before. And of course, in the farming, my dad, you know, it got so big where you know, he knew what to do, but he wasn't going to take care. He was getting older. He wasn't taking care of it. And my oldest brother, John, loved that. You know, he loved equipment and farming and soils and all that. So, of course, he moved right into that area.
I believe that somewhere in all of our lives, we have to make the decision that it isn't about us. it's like a relay race. You have the baton. What we're talking about here is so deep that someone hands you the baton, and you get to carry the baton as hard and fast as you can for one lap around.
Yes.
And then you're going to pass the baton to the next person.
And I don't believe the talent is incredible. The talent pool is incredible.
The talent is so that there's a young man on this page, or in this picture, that is, and I don't want in any way, shape, or form to single out his children or my children or any of the 36 of them, because I believe that the opportunity should be the same for all of them. But there's only one of those 36 that ever came into this boardroom in the middle of college and says, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to come back here?
When it's all said and done, I would say this. You know, we can really be critical of each other. We have very high standards. But by the same token, you know, I think it's true with the other people too. It's one of those things where, and we've done it before, we've all done it, we're guilty of it, of sitting there saying to each other or to our friends, you know, in effect, you know, really being critical of one of our brothers or sisters or nieces or nephews or something, but the minute somebody else from the outside jumps in and says, I agree, then it's almost like those are fighting words. Hold the phone here. Wait a minute, I can do this, but you can't.
The Roozens are a dynamic group with a rich history and a promising future. When we come back, I'll visit with the active family members.
Simply better forages. That's serious business to Pioneer. Advanced agronomics, nutritional expertise, and silage management practices. We're talking more than 25 years of focused dairy research to develop the best corn silage hybrids, alfalfa varieties, and inoculants that fit your operation. Hey, they all gotta eat. Get more from your fields, more from your cows. We'll back it up with the service you deserve. Simply better forages. Only from Pioneer.
The things you need to protect don't always come with a timeline. If your personal goal is to make sure your family farm stays in the family, you need to know where to turn for advice. Pioneer Hybrid proudly supports the Farm Journal Legacy Project, a valuable resource for your succession planning and your children's future. The family farm is alive and well. Pass it on.
This is our time to get the most out of every hour, out of every acre. You don't plant half promises, only the best solutions. We know the land, we know you. It goes generations deep. Right product on the right acre. It's what we do together.
There is no single key to success. The Roozens are guided by the talents of active family members. The family shares values of hard work and team effort.
We all graduated from college, but he'd watch, and he was the best at saying, well, you went to college, you figure it out. You're so smart. You went to, remember how many times you're so smart, Pa, what do you want us to do here? Pa, hey, we got a problem out here. Hey, Pa, what about this? You know.
So I want to go back just for a minute.
You know, he just looked, though. He would say, you're so smart, you figure it out. And he watched us and stuff, and he pushed us. And I'll just finish this. But he knew we had this thing in us about this, that we were raised, there was no such thing as failure or quit. Those words didn't exist.
So truly what drove this is we were a bulb business, and my dad saw that we could, you know, Leo moved into sales and he started doing a good job, and he could see this turning into a flower business. Bulbs that we used to sell, let's keep them and put them in our greenhouse. We were selling them to other people who would put them in a greenhouse and turn them into flowers. So he saw that happening and he loved that. And I remember him saying one time, boy, we might be able to just make a flower factory here.
Your dad?
Yeah. And then when he saw that happening, and really what drove it all, and Leo he deserves a lot of the credit for this. What drove it all was sales, you know. And then we had to keep up with it, and we had to make sure the quality was right. We all had jobs to make sure, but I mean, Leo drove sales, and the sales drove the company.
We had an older Dutch gentleman that was doing my job, and he had a massive heart attack when he was 52. And we were looking for somebody to do my job. And we were in this office, and I said, well, give me a shot. And so that's when I carved my own area out, and I started learning that. So that helped a lot, and I'm sure Richie was, you know, working with Leo a lot when he was younger, and it kind of went his own way because it's tough working with your own partners.
How do you make decisions?
You know, it's not 100% agreement on anything, but you know, if we pretty much have, if it's 3-2 or 2-3, depending, you know, or you know, then it's something we got to keep wrestling with. But you know, we get 4 of us wanting to go a certain way, or 5. You know, that's more rare, but then we pretty much go that way.
I used to say to him all the time, you know, Pa, you've done it all. I mean, you know, you don't have to prove anything to anybody, but you know, when you're gone, if you don't figure this thing out, when you're gone, they're all going to say, you were good. He was good, but he couldn't figure out the big deal. Our legacy will be what we decide. If we decide, that will be our legacy, whatever it is. If we decide and we move it on, if we decide to sell it, if we decide to go public, whatever we decide, that is how we will be remembered, how we decided.
Coming up next, join me in Kevin's classroom.
What single product delivers benefits to growers, the food industry, and consumers? Plenish High Oleic Soybeans from Pioneer. Plenish High Oleic Soybeans feature high-yielding genetics, key defensive traits, and solid agronomics. But the biggest difference for growers is the possibility of increased profits from food industry and consumer demand for healthier cooking oil alternatives. And the benefits keep stacking up. Longer fry life, resistance to rancidity for increased shelf life, and stability under high heat, plus reduced buildup on equipment resulting in lower maintenance and cleaning costs. Consumers are looking for more health-conscious choices when it comes to food. Plenish High Oleic Soybean Oil has 0 grams trans fat and 20% less saturated fat than commodity soybean oil, with the highest amount of heart-healthy monounsaturated fat available in soy. With Plenish High Oleic Soybeans and Oil, there's something for everyone. And it's only available from Pioneer.
The things you need to protect don't always come with a timeline. If your personal goal is to make sure your family farm stays in the family, you need to know where to turn for advice. Pioneer Hybrid proudly supports the Farm Journal Legacy Project, a valuable resource for your succession planning and your children's future. The family farm is alive and well. Pass it on.
This is our time to get the most out of every hour, out of every acre. You don't plant half promises, only the best solutions. We know the land, we know you. It goes generations deep. Right product on the right acre. It's what we do together.
Welcome to Kevin's Classroom. Advice, ideas, and helpful hints to guide you down the succession planning process.
Any business, including a family farm, needs an employment policy. It should clearly define the rules for a family member who may be interested in working in the family organization. The employment policy should be clear and concise. It should spell out the conditions in which a person may seek an employment opportunity. All too often, parents are held to unrealistic expectations when it comes to employing family members in the farming operation. While oral communication is subject to interpretation, a written employment policy allows everyone the opportunity to read the specific language and interpret the fairness of the policy. A well-written policy will help the entire staff to better understand the family business connection. The employment policy should include the following: a company management structure, job descriptions, an explanation of wages and benefits, an explanation of the application and interview process, promotional opportunities, and the review process. It should include a list of disciplinary actions, including training opportunities. Last, but certainly not least, the company employment policy should be reviewed with each family member who may be interested in working in the family operation.
For more useful tips from Kevin's classroom, sign up for Legacy Moment, a free weekly email. Visit the Legacy Project page at agweb.com to register.
Match the right product to the right acre and you'll see results. Y-Series soybeans from Pioneer, for example. They're redefining yield potential field by field. Powered by our exclusive accelerated yield technology system. They're the next generation of high-performing Pioneer varieties with bred and pest resistance traits. It's easy to see why growers plant Pioneer brand soybean varieties on more acres than any other brand.
This is our time to get the most out of every hour, out of every acre. You don't plant half promises, only the best solutions. We know the land, we know you. It goes generations deep. Right product on the right acre. It's what we do together.
The things you need to protect don't always come with a timeline. If your personal goal is to make sure your family farm stays in the family, you need to know where to turn for advice. Pioneer Hybrid proudly supports the Farm Journal Legacy Project, a valuable resource for your succession planning and your children's future. The family farm is alive and well. Pass it on.
Simple answers are the best answers. Pioneer was first to simplify corn rootworm refuge by integrating everything you need in a single bag. Now, Pioneer is expanding choices with new single-bag refuge products Optimum Acre Max and Optimum Acre Max Extra Insect Protection. Just fill your planter and go. No stopping. Right product, right acre. Simple.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Pioneer Hybrid, helping you get the right product on the right acre. Science with service, delivering success.
He says our success depends on each one of us performing at our optimum all the time, no matter what role we are in. First off, you run a business with 300 full-time employees or seasonal or year-round.
Pretty much, yeah.
About 200 seasonal employees.
Get a payroll pushing $7 million, yeah.
Okay, that's a huge, just tell me some of your management challenges there.
It's how I run my life. You need to talk to people. You need to touch them. You need to hear them. They need to hear your voice. They need to. Sometimes it's just a, hey, how you doing today? And you're waiting for the answer. Or you look at their body language. There's no doubt about it with my partners for years. We'd have things for years. We pushed the wrong buttons, or maybe we did it on purpose. You see somebody walk in the office in the morning. You get to know your partner. You get to know your people so well. You can tell if they're having a bad day or a good day. You can tell if they're on or if they're off. So you have a tough issue you want to deal with. I think in the past, all of us, we still may do it too often now. And it's not just in our business, but so you hit them with it. And you know that's the red button. You know it's going to go sideways. So why do you do it? You know what you do is you wait for the right timing.
So let's go there for a minute.
But by the same token, I do push. I mean, people around here, they see this all the time. I point things, it's hard to do, but I point things out. If people are not performing or I point them out. I ask them, okay? And I just say, I just want to hear, if I hear somebody say I can't do that, I'm done with it anymore. They can't do it. They've told me they can't do it, they can't do it. I used to say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Now I say, okay, you can't do it. What do you mean? You told me you couldn't do it, you can't do it. So, but it can be done, easy enough. Somebody else will do it. But when I point this out, people will often say, what do you want? And I go, I want to be perfect. We don't need to be the biggest, we want to be the best. I want to be perfect. Leo, nobody's perfect. We're pretty good. I said, I know nobody's perfect. However, if you start telling yourself, I'm pretty good, we're pretty good, if I walk away and you say to your guys, we're pretty good, we're doing a good job, it's okay. Understand one thing, if you're satisfied with pretty good, in a year or so you're going to be good. And if you're, then in 2 years you're going to be above average, pretty soon you're going to be average because you're satisfied. But if you strive for perfection, I mean, I always say it's that world-class sprinter that spends his whole career trying to lower his time by 1/100th of a second or whatever. I mean, what's 1/100th of a second?
How do you keep yourself in check?
My responsibility, and I think my dad understood this, my responsibility is to do what's very best for this company every day. Not what's best for Leo Roozen, not what's best for anybody else, what's best for this company. And many, many times, I know I have not done what's best for me. I've tried to do what's best for the company. The second thing is, you have a huge responsibility, which means you can't take it personally, but if things, our succession plan, anything, if it's not going the way it should be going, if something's not right here, it's my fault.
So one last question. Where's the company 10 years from now?
The only thing that's the same about this company that is when we came into it out of college is it's at the same location. The address is different. The Postal Service did that. Our area code is different. The phone guys did that. Our product mix is totally different, almost 100%, flipped upside down, bulb company, flower company. How we process is different. How we ship, who we sell to, how we collect our bills, everything is different. We've been here every day, so we still think it's kind of washed. This whole company, if we would have gone into a deep coma for 30 years and come back, we wouldn't, it's not the same company. And it's not going to be the same company, not 30 years, 10 years from now. My guess is the size of our other company is going to be way bigger.
Success is an international value. Whether you grow tulip bulbs, cattle, or corn, your markets are increasingly international. Not only do markets affect your operation, but we're influenced by differences in business trends, management techniques, and farming methods. As an industry, we can learn from flower growers, dairy farmers, and food processors, and as family business owners, we should emulate some of the best tools used by our largest corporations and honor some of the methods that define even the smallest mom-and-pop operations. Until next time, I'm Kevin Spafford, helping you to leave a legacy.